just bought an Oldtimer. Was that the right choice? Let's find out. So for those who have followed me for the last 3 years living in a campervan, a small Ford Transit, you know that it's been really, really fun, but you know I wasn't really, really happy, and I've done something completely different now. I invested in an Oldtimer campervan, a Hymer, that's a German one by the way, a Hymer built in 1990, so it's about 35 years old now. So typically that means it's an Oldtimer, and that means even though it's got an old diesel motor or engine, I can still drive throughout Germany without any restrictions because it's a historical vehicle. I'll take you around the outside of my Hymer. It doesn't have a name. Now, Dean was my previous one. You know, the campervan was called Dean, and I've decided to not give this one a name. It's just called the Oldtimer, so this is it. It doesn't have a name. As you can tell, it's a bit bigger than Dean, although on paper it's only 50 centimeters, 50, longer than Dean, so that's not that much. So this one has a total length of 5 meters and 60 centimeters. It's a bit broader than a Ford Transit, of course. It's 2 meter 20 broad, and with the mirrors it's definitely 240 wide. And as you can see, I've already managed to smash a mirror because I couldn't really see how wide I really am. So in the 90s, every door and every hatch had its own key. So I've got like about 500 keys now. So, okay, so key 1 is for the front door or the back door, or whatever you want to call it. As you might have noticed, on the right-hand side, there is no door. I've been told that in the 90s, when you ordered a campervan, that you had optional doors and you had to pay extra if you wanted a right-hand door as well. So these people, my previous owners, obviously didn't want to pay extra, so they didn't have a right-hand door, just like the driver's door and the back door here. Over here, you've got the 100-liter water tank, so you can fill it up with 100 liters of water, clear water. I still haven't done that because I still need to clean the tank, and I don't exactly know how to do that and where to do that, because as you see, I live in the middle of the city. It's a bit difficult filling it up with 100 liters of water and also dumping 100 liters of water. So I need to do that once I'm on a camping site. But that's the water tank, which is also an upgrade from living in a Ford Transit. I've got 100 liters, so I can shower. Next one. This houses, I can show you, you can find the right key because there's about 300 keys. This one houses the gas tanks. Back. It's got huge gas tanks. Again, compared to my life in the small Ford Transit, if you compare it to the Ford Transit, I've got these little butane gas canisters, and that was what I used to cook on. And now I've got these two huge propane or butane gas tanks, really. One is already empty, so I managed to empty one, and the other one is now full. So I have cooking facilities, heating facilities, I can do everything. And they're safely stored here. There you go. Boom. And let's close that again. Like I said, there's no door on this side. And let's move on to the front side. In Germany, every Oldtimer has an H at the end of their number plate. So it's a historical vehicle. Like I said, that means that you can get into city centers. Now, I thought living in Europe that would make my life easier, but apparently every country's got their own little rule, which means that my historical vehicle doesn't automatically get access to the big cities or the ULEZ cities in Europe, which is kind of unfortunate. So in France, I'm gonna have to be careful with Paris, Lyon, and all the bigger cities. London, I can forget all about anyway. Amsterdam, Rotterdam, I can also forget because my Oldtimer isn't old enough. It should be 40 years old and not 35, like my little young one here. And Italy doesn't like old diesels either, and Spain and Portugal I'm kind of lucky, and so looking forward to another winter in sunny Spain or Portugal because they are Oldtimer friendly. So behind this Hymer is a Fiat engine. Now I always thought Fiat Ducatos were like new cars, but apparently they existed in the 1990s, the 1980s already. So this has got a Fiat Ducato engine. It's got a turbo diesel, believe it or not, not that you notice much of it when you're driving, but it's got a turbo diesel, which means that it's got 92 horsepower, which is more than the average 75 one. So good in that respect. There is a more expensive version of the same car built on a Mercedes engine. Mercedes always better and bigger and more expensive, and they last longer, but hopefully this one will last a long time as well. That's my Hymer. We go on to the next side. Yay! Boom. So on this side we have a couple of things that are worth mentioning. Let's start at the very back. Again, an upgrade from... The weird thing is that my Oldtimer is now an upgrade from a more recent vehicle that I used to drive, but this has a toilet cassette. So this is safely stored here. I don't have the key for that at the moment. This is my Truma heating exhaust. So basically I can heat the van and I can have warm water to wash up, to have a shower. Again, a total different experience from living in a tiny stealth van. This is, I have no idea what this is. Oh, okay, so let's go back. This is the electrical outlet. So if I do decide to go to a campsite, I can power it up and then have like full 220 volts throughout the van. And this a storage area, which you can never have enough of. So there you go, this storage area. As you can see, Oldtimer, it always needs to be fixed, so that needs to be glued again. I'm sure I can do that somehow. Storage area, which also can be accessed from inside. We'll get to the inside in a minute, because I know you're here for a room tour and I'm showing you the outside. And I know you're here for the inside, but let's do the outside first and then I'll show you what the interior looks like. There you go. Okay, and there's one more side, it's the back side, of course, so let's look at that. Not much to see here, although when I did buy it, and I'll probably put it up there somewhere, there was a bike rack. There was a huge bike rack on it, and since I'm a solo traveler, I only have one bike, and this bike rack was taking up another meter, so I unscrewed it, which you can see in the video up there, and it gives me like a better view from the kitchen area. And apart from that, I installed a USB. It's a USB camera, so that I can also park backwards and can see what's happening behind me. I think that's kind of everything. This is the exhaust for the fridge. That's another thing that I can point out. And as you can see, Dean was 2 meter, exactly 2 meter high. So it didn't have problems with height restriction. Unfortunately, this one is a bit taller. It's 2 meter and 70, and it's got like a bit extra on top. So it's 2 meter 75. So sometimes the height restrictions of 2 meter or 6 feet in England, yeah, I can't get under those anymore, so stealth camping is going to be a bit more difficult, but I'll still try doing that because I still don't like campsites with screaming children and running dogs and all that. That's not my lifestyle, so I'll try and find different ways or different park-ups that I am allowed to. But as you can see, it's not stealth anymore. You can see me from a mile away. Let's go inside. And I guess we're getting to the point where I'm going to show you the interior, which is basically what you're all here for. So I'm sorry about the wait, but you have to go through this before I show you the interior. Now, to be quite honest, these were built in 1990 or in the 80s and the early 90s. They were very, very dark because they use real wood inside. I am now the 4th owner of this vehicle. So we had the original couple that bought it in the 90s, and then they handed it over to their cousin or to their nephew, I think, who kept it also for a very long time. And then only 2 years ago, a lesbian couple bought this van and made it their own and made it really, really nice, like the way they wanted it. They made some upgrades, it was done really, really lovely, but they made it less dark, so which you will see in a minute. So I'm the fourth owner, which is not bad for a vehicle this age. So let me show you the interior. Boom. Come on in. Now, these Hymers are, the one that I bought is actually the shortest version. It's 5 meters and 60 centimeters. And it's got 3 layouts. I have the layout where, as you can see, you have like this seating arrangement with a table, another seating arrangement, which you can also use as a single bed. And over there is the kitchen. The kitchen is at the back. The other 2 constellations that you have is where you have the kitchen on the side and lots of cupboards at the back, or where you have the kitchen on the side and have got a seating arrangement at the back. But I like this setup where you can watch out the window while you're cooking, so that, because I cook so much, big lie, but when I make my coffee, I can look out the window. As a solo traveler, I have now discovered that maybe this van or this layout is a bit ridiculous, because I have, count with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seating arrangements, and honestly I'm just on my own, so there's only one spot that I really like, and you know, that's that spot at the moment. So I need to work on this. I want to change the layout a bit. Now, being a historical vehicle, there's limited things that you can do before you lose your historical status. So I'm not sure if I can really start building out seatings and building in cabinets or something like that. I have no idea, but I'm definitely gonna look into that. I'm gonna be like a flight attendant now in, airline Jack. We've got lots of storage cabinets on the upper section here, so lots of storage, and as you can see, I've already pretty much filled all that stuff, but yeah, lots of it, which is great, because again, in living in a small van, I had already reduced all my possessions. Underneath this seating arrangement, more storage. Underneath this seat is the 100-liter tank, and underneath this seat is another, which you saw from the outside. That was that box from the outside that opened. So this is also storage area. Later on in life, when I'm all sorted out, this is probably where the electricity compartment is going to be, with the solar, the power packs, the lithium battery. That's probably where that gets stored. So that's kind of my living arrangement. As you can see, sorry, the previous owner painted everything white because they thought it was a bit dark. Now, with all this light coming through also from this skylight, as you can see, everything is very, very bright. Everything heats up very, very quickly. So I'm trying to figure out whether I like all this white or whether I want more dark, more earthy tones. So I'm still working on that. That's why I'm bringing in some texture by throw pillows and all that, just to make it a bit homier, a bit to feel a bit warmer. So this is the living area. I'm gonna swap now, and we're gonna show you the kitchen area. And by magic, I'm in the small kitchen area. As you know, if you've been following me, I'm not the greatest cook. The only thing I can cook is rice and coffee. And so people always say like, oh, that's a tiny kitchen, but for me, it's more than enough. Again, I've got some storage area, for food. There you go. Not a lot, but again, I don't eat. Changing again from my life in a camper van, I have a proper fridge. Now this one runs on electric and on gas. It works, I've tried it out. The only problem with my lifestyle is that the fridge runs on gas, and it works perfectly fine on gas, but when I'm driving, I'm supposed to switch off the gas, which means that the fridge stops working. I drive every day, so somehow I don't know how to make this fridge work permanently for me. So I need to find an alternative for that, like a compressor fridge or something like that that works on solar energy, because the gas thing doesn't work. I mean, yes, it works, but it only works if you're stationary for a longer time. Then you can use the gas. But like me, I drive every day, so I have to switch off the gas all the time, and then the fridge stops working. So that system doesn't work for me, but you know, it is what it is at the moment. I've got a nice two-hob, nice two-hob. Again, I'm not much of a cook, but you know, for coffee and boiling rice, more than enough. There you go. And on the other side, I have a nice sink. Again, in Dean, it was all a bit smaller, and you know, I've got now a sink with hot water even. Can you imagine? There you go. I have a sorry. I have a skylight. As you can see, I'm trying to block out the direct sunlight, but something's missing, as you may maybe see here. Not sure what happened there, but I'll show you the piece. I've got it here. Sorry, I'll show you the piece. I've got it here. So this goes on top of here, and then you can actually block out the light. Unfortunately, it keeps on falling down, so I need to find the instructions online and somehow attach it again so that that works to my advantage, and I can block out the light and also block out any mosquitoes when we're back in summer. So yeah, not everything works perfectly fine. Little details here as well. As you can see, this fabric is now coming loose. You know, 35 years, things start to, you know, stop working. The clock, as lovely as it is, it's always at 9:30. It doesn't work anymore. I can't find a replacement that just fits in there, but you know, for the time being, it will just have to be there. Yeah, that's kind of kitchen, isn't it? Kitchen. Another upgrade from living in a small van is, of course, having a shower and a proper toilet. I'm not used to that. My reasoning was that I go to the gym every day anyway, so why would I need a shower? I can shower at the gym every day. And a toilet, yeah, well, there you go. You needed to time your toilet visits, or as I always said very bluntly, I pee in a bottle. There you go, and I throw away the bottle. But these days are now over. So I'll open the door to the magic room that is my tiny little bathroom. But let's be honest, it's not that tiny. It's got everything I want. It's got a skylight, so for some fresh air. It's got me, hello there, in the mirror. It's the toilet, as you can see. It's got a sink as well. And the shower attachment is actually part of your sink. So you just spray yourself with the shower attachment. And then there is on the bottom here, there you can see it. You have got your drain as well. So perfect for me, really. We'll have another wave. There you go. It's me. And now close the door. And continuing in the back area, this is a storage cabinet, which at the moment has got all the junk in it, so we're not going to show you that. But the Truma heater is worth mentioning. Again, the previous owners played with white and gold, so they made it really, really lovely. But it works a treat. So I've already tried it on those cold nights already, because we're September and the nights are already getting very cold. So, you know, it works and it heats up the place quite quickly. So I'm loving having, it's not a diesel heater, it's a gas heater, but I'm loving having this one here. Every time I show people this van, the next question is always, yeah, but where do you sleep? There's no bed. Let me show you the bed. So the bed is hidden above the driver's cabin, and it works on hydraulics. So there's a couple of things that you need to do. This is for your own safety. Like I said, we're on airline jack here, so that feels like very airline-y. And then we just need to forward the seats a bit. Then you'll see the bed can come down like this. And boom, you have a double-sized bed, which, oh, let me demonstrate. Boom. It is perfect. I mean, of course the curtains close and you make it very comfortable. You've got some nice lights for the night. I'm tired now doing this room tour. And we're not completely done yet, so I need some energy still. So, but yeah, that's the bedroom area. Do you like it? Leave a comment in the comment section. Yeah, and to store it back, it's just push up with, well, 2 hands basically, and then put the security on again, and then you're good to go. There you go. That's my bed area. And to be quite honest, because I live on my own, sometimes I'm too lazy and I just sleep on the single bed, because if you are following my channel, this is exactly the bed that I used in Dean. I'm used to sleeping on this mattress. It's got this leather thing which makes it also very cool in the summer. So, you know, I don't mind sleeping here on my own. And let's put the seat back up. There you go, cushions back. Now, the table I've already changed, because there used to be this really huge, again, white table, and it was way too much white. So I like a bit more of the darker wooden tones. So that table has been changed already. The rest I still need to think about. Now, unfortunately, there are already a list of negatives I have about living in this van, but there's a list of positives as well. But one of the negatives, I'm standing really underneath, and this is this skylight. Although it's lovely getting all the light, it also gets all the heat. I can open it, of course, like with this little mechanism. I can lift it up. There you go. And then you get some fresh air at least. But if it's warm, no fresh air comes in. It's just like heat, heat, heat. So in my little DIY, I made this myself, blocking out the light and also reflecting the sunlight. So I fit that in here and you will see a difference straight away. Well, there you go. Let's close the window a bit more. And then, as you can see, it's already straight away darker. It's not going to be cooler, but at least it helps cooling down the van. That's one thing. In summer, when the sun shines for like 5 seconds, it'll be 25 and 30 degrees inside within a minute. When it's colder, like I said, at night, it cools down because the insulation is really, really bad. It cools down very, very quickly to 8 degrees in the morning or whatever. So that's getting used to. Another thing that's getting used to is driving this thing, because it's really, really big compared to like the small Ford Transit. So I still have problems with that, with especially narrow roads, or, you know. And another negative is the engine itself, of course. It's actually driving a 99 diesel car. It's loud. I'll switch on the engine in a minute. The thing is, if I switch on the engine, you won't hear much of me anymore, so I'm not going to do it straight away. But it's very loud. Of course, it's not very fast. You know, it's a 99 diesel. Although it's a turbo diesel, it's not very fast. So, you know, and a typical diesel needs its time to heat up. So it takes time before it's really on full power and that you can drive, you have a smooth drive. So that's things that I really, really need to get used to. And I'm still not used to it. Again, I have to mention that I bought this 2 months ago, so it's like still very new to me. I'm discovering something new every day. I'm learning stuff about, you know, old vehicles as well. The one positive side about owning an old vehicle with an old engine is that the old engines were built to last. There is no electronics that can go wrong. There is no electronics. So it's basically just your engine and a couple of lights on the dashboard, and that's it. So join me on the dashboard and we'll talk about the engine. Well, welcome at the steering wheel. Yeah, it's getting used to an old vehicle basically, because there's not a lot of buttons, as you can see. It's got 5 gears and a reverse, and this is the gear stick. it looks old and it's also falling apart. And with heat, which is really strange, this thing starts to melt. So I need to find a new stick, whatever you call that. So yeah, basically there's not much to it. There's not a lot of lights on here. There's not a lot of lights there. I bought this IKEA clock because otherwise I have no idea what time it is. And basically you are sitting on top of the engine. This is where the engine is. It is just like, there is some noise insulation tape in between the engine and me, but as you will find out in a minute, you can still hear everything. I need to put my little Eames bird upright, so let me do that first, because it needs to be that way. There you go. Got some mid-century classics even in my van. There's this, my Eames bird. I made a little video or a little YouTube short, and I'll have to make a longer version of that because I have a cassette player, because it's an historical vehicle. I have a cassette player here that doesn't really play cassettes. So I had to find a way of actually making the music work. And for that, I bought this device. You put it in the cassette, but then you can still connect it to your phone or to your USB drive and play music. But I'll make that in another video, but I want to explain this to you that I've got that as well. Shall we start? Shall we just like switch on the engine? Like from all these keys, there's also one that actually ignites the engine. So let's do that, and then you can tell how noisy it is. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. You might think it's not that noisy now, but trust me, when you drive, it is noisy. But I don't mind. I'm on my own. If I got some music, I don't have to have a conversation with people. I can just concentrate on the road and driving. And as you can see, because of the window, it's like we have a panoramic view of the world. It's quite nice and quiet on a Sunday today. But if you've got a nice park up at a lake, you've got the most wonderful view through these windows. So I'm loving the view as well. That's all I've got to say basically about my Hymer. It's called a 544. It's got a number, and that's because of the layout. So this is my Hymer B544. This is my room tour, wrapping up the room tour. I hope you liked it. If you've got some questions, then please write them in the comment section. I know I've been saying this before to the people who followed me with my Dean, my van. This is the relaunch of the channel, and I'm hoping to actually really deliver one video per week about my life on the road. The life on the road hasn't changed. It's just the vehicle that I'm using that has now changed. And I would like you to come along for the ride and see what I get up to, where I drive, what my adventures are, who are the people that I meet, what are the problems that I encounter, what are the solutions that I find. Solutions like these little things where you always have light because you put it at the front and you're charging your solar light, and in the evening you've got a lovely night. Those kind of solutions for $5.95 in a cheap shop somewhere. So there you go. I would like to grab this opportunity to relaunch the channel, Jack Van Dien, although Dean is no longer there. But you know, Jack Van Dien is still here, I am still here, and it's just a different vehicle. I hope you join me, and I'll see you next week then. Promise, I'll be there. Bye bye for now.